This is your good buddy Arcade broadcasting loud and clear for all to hear. This one's going out to the fine men and women in that dead piddle convoy. Let them know we ain't gonna be taking it no more. We see you and we appreciate you. Keep on trucking and keep it between the ditches.
Well, I'm pulling out of Pittsburgh, heading out that eastern seaboard. I got my diesel wound up, but she's rolling just like never before. There's speeds on ahead, alright, and I don't see a cop inside. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. I got 10 Ford gears and a Georgia overdrive. I'm popping little white pills and my eyes are opening wide. Yeah, I just passed a Jimmy on white. I've been passing everything inside. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Kiss my baby goodbye. See, I can get a lot of women, but I'm not like some other guys. I can find one to hold me tight, but I can never make believe it's alright. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Yeah, the ICC heard them coming on down the line. See, I'm a little overweight and my logbook's way behind. Yeah, but nothing bothered me tonight. I can dodge all them scales alright. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Smoke's bone black as coal. My whole town's coming inside. If you're thinking that I'm happy, you're right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Yeah, I'm pulling out of Pittsburgh and out that eastern seaboard. I got my diesel wound up and she's rolling just like never before. There's speeds on it heavy, alright, and I don't see a cop inside. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. My hometown's coming inside. If you're thinking that I'm happy, you're right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
Welcome to the EdgeStream, the edgiest live show I know. The following show is a satire, and all characters appearing are fictitious in nature. Any resemblance to real persons living or dead are purely coincidental. Narcs are not welcome. Viewer suicide is advised.
I heard the fuck boys they wanna. I finished up I guess the niggas heard that I'm edgy. I guess they all heard that I'm edgy.
You edgy. You're now tuned in to the edgiest guy I know.
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you? I'm sure a lot of people are, eh? Fuck. Oh, he's a beast, man. Yeah, I don't think he's human, man. He's got to be a fucking cyborg. Fuck. Yeah. I can hear you. I guess the rest of the people can't, man. Can everybody hear me? Check. Yeah, they can hear me. They just can't hear you. Weird. Technical difficulties. Please stay tuned.
There we go. I think we're back. All right. And while we're at it, I think I should turn on my lights here. So do you want to say hi to the chat? I hear some.
Yeah. Let me pop over there for a sec. Yeah, we got a bunch of the usual bigots here, you know. We got Trent Cabs, Greg Arcade,
All right.
Jason73, Kyle McLean. What up, Kyle? Yeah, fucking Canadianism. We got Political Puppet Theater, Canada First Clips. How's everybody doing, man? Hope my dog's going nuts, guys. I apologize for that. Fucking, there's not much I can do about him in the background. Yeah, he's going fucking crazy. He's a puppy. What can you do? But yeah, good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
smash that thumbs up button while you're here.
Hell yeah, let's go. Yeah, good to see some classic dudes over here in the chat tonight. Fuck yeah. Yeah, Diagonal. We ended up the night with rap battle again. I think that's the best I've ever done against you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So
could be.
Maybe next year I'll beat you. Fuck.
Are we gonna keep this going every year, man? Is this gonna be a fucking tradition?
I think so.
Right.
Each year when we have the end of the year party, I'll get a bit less drunk. And I'll do a bit better in the rap battle.
Dude, it's a 12-hour stream. Why don't we rap each other at the first hour?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
We'll come in with clear minds and we'll destroy each other with rhymes.
No, I'll still be fucked up, but at least you'll be clear-headed. We've got to make it fair.
Very true. Very true. That intro song, awesome new song from Greg Arcade. About the truckers and the new mandates that are coming in. A modern day protest song. Right in the moment as it's happening. This guy is on the ball, man.
Yeah, Greg's a very talented dude, man.
For sure, man. He's got me back into country music. Like, I don't know too much about country, but he has the right kind of country twang that I could get back into it with. You know,
not just music, like graphic design and shit too, man.
He's of
very
course,
talented,
man.
Yeah.
This guy's an all-around
a key
savant.
member of our group.
He really is. We got a lot of talented people here, and this is like one of the biggest and best group efforts I've ever seen in like a niche community that's becoming not so niche anymore. It's really expanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greg Arcade is saying the Booster Boys are coming soon. Yes. This is a project that me, Greg Arcade, and Greg Wycliffe are working on. It's like
nice.
Kind of like a parody of boy bands like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, whatever. Except for all the songs are about how we're flamingly excited to get our next booster shots. No matter how many there are, no matter how many we're supposed to get, we're just homosexually excited to get them. And they're all parodies of songs. We got a bunch of ideas on deck. And I think the best or worst part of it is that I am now unironically like the Backstreet Boys.
Dude, you know what you should do? Okay, just an idea, but you should fucking make it look like you're taking it between your toes because all your other veins have collapsed already from fucking so many injections.
Right. I'm getting gangrene on all my other fucking limbs, so it's just in between the toes for me now.
Yep.
It's like, have you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah, that's a brutal movie. I have a hard time watching that one, man.
Jared Leto loses his fucking arm at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe the two Gregs are going ass to ass like Jennifer Connelly. Okay.
Yeah.
That is one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a movie, and I just actually watched it on YouTube recently. I do want to play that scene. Requiem for it. Trust me, it's worth it. It's only 10 seconds, so.
All right, yeah, that shouldn't get us shut down.
Yeah. This is the most degenerate you can ever be, as like a billionaire.
So what are we gonna do now?
Hold on.
So what are we gonna do now?
Ass to ass. A bunch of greasy businessmen screaming ass to ass in a dirty warehouse. That is like that is the very bottom of rock bottom when you're just fiending for your 8th booster, and you'll do anything to get that extra protection. That you go ass to ass for a bunch of billionaire businessmen. It's not pretty out there. It's hard being a booster boy. Anyways, I think we should get into like the trucker mandates and the vaccine mandates that they're applying upon truckers, who are one of the biggest contingent, like the biggest crowds of people that are standing up and, you know, potentially making a difference here. You know, we've seen the healthcare workers, the airline workers getting flights shut down in the States, and you know, the media and these companies are like scrambling to come up with excuses for why this actually happened. Like, oh, there's a lot of people calling in sick, and oh, there's shortages or schedule conflicts. You know, we're gonna see a never-ending list of excuses from all these corporations and from the media. But now with the truckers, it's undeniable. This is why it's happening, and
Yeah, absolutely.
there's gonna be multiple protests for it. And I do want to just bring light to two protests that could be very important that are happening on this Saturday at noon in Toronto. I could probably pull this up right now. I believe it's in Queen's Park in Toronto. I have the link right
It's usually
here.
where they are.
Yeah, you got to bring it to them and then go marching around so you could get it out to them. Bring it to the belly of the beast. So here's the poster for it. So yeah, it's a worldwide rally for freedom, Toronto Queen's Park, at noon on this Saturday, and Randy Hillier and Maxime Bernier are gonna be there. I will be there if I can, most likely, getting as much footage as I can, trying to create some propaganda for the culture war. I suggest everybody who can go out to this, you know, make a show of force. Also, try and network with as many people as you can and learn about the upcoming food shortages and what you're going to need to survive, because I think we're getting a blessing this dark winter. We're going to get a taste of what it's like to have food shortages, what it's like to be put in this situation. So we have a chance to learn if we don't already know. And that's what I want to go there for too as well, to network and learn about how food sustainability and self-sustainability and network with the right people.
Yeah, be prepared. Failing to prepare, or sorry, fuck. There's a phrase, I'm fucking it up, but yeah, be prepared anyway.
Not making ready.
Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Right, for sure. Also on Sunday, there's the Waterloo Freedom Rally. And that's the same time, noon to 2 p.m. at Waterloo Town Square. So I will be going to that too if I can. So I'll see you guys there if you choose to come out if you're in Ontario. But yeah, Maxime Bernier and Randy Hillier, two politicians in Canada, are doing the most to try and stick up for the people. And I want to latch on. We need to latch on to whatever political clout or power that they have to get the message out there. And we'll just do the best we can with that, and with networking, and with pushing the culture war. So let's fucking go.
I don't know if you've seen this one. Fuck, I should have pulled it up. But did you see that in Ontario you want to be allowed into a voting station without being able to show proof of fucking vaccination? So they're gonna say, oh, if you want to vote, you have to do it through mail-in ballot.
No way.
Yeah,
That's another
that's
thing.
yeah. I'm
It's
sure
not
they'll talk
surprising,
about
to be
that.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
want to
hey,
bring
you
that?
know, what's the easiest way to get rid of the opposition? You make them stay home, and then when they mail them in, you'd be like, oh, well, the mail didn't come today. Sorry, guys, it's a couple days. You know.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
there was some kind of scheduling conflict.
Yeah, you know,
You know
because we
how it
all know
goes.
mail-in voting is the safest way to do everything,
Mhm.
right? Like, no, it's the easiest way to fraud things, but yeah.
Fuckery is afoot. Yeah, I didn't know that. So I'm gonna just bring up the article here that I have for the trucking situation that's appearing, right? Okay, yeah. So it says Canada's vaccine mandate for cross-border truckers is now in effect. And they're saying that the Canadian Trucking Alliance has said between 10 and 15% of cross-border commercial drivers could be lost if the mandate takes effect. American Trucking Associations has argued that a misapplied mandate would fuel a surge in driver turnover, with fleets losing as much as 7% of their current workforce. Wow, 37%. Well, it seems that they're holding out a lot better than the 10-15% of the Canadian Trucking Alliance, but I think that makes them even a little bit stronger in that you have the smaller minority of them really standing by their their morals right there. And there are 120,000 Canadians and 40,000 licensed drivers in the US who operate cross-border. The Canadian Trucking Alliance says, while about 70% of the $648 billion in trade between the two countries moves by truck. So that's a lot of industry being cut
Yeah,
out.
it's quite
That's fucking
substantial.
crazy. So yeah, 120,000 Canadians, 10 to 15%. Like I've seen numbers like it's like 15, 16, 18, 20,000, somewhere around there, right?
And that's only half, right? Because you still got to count the American side too. The American
Oh
Truck
yeah, yeah.
Driving Association, they said, I believe it was 18 to 21%. They hadn't figured out the exact number yet, but and that's just the American Truck Drivers Association. So we haven't included the numbers that it could go up or down at that point, right? Because not everybody's included in that. Like Amazon has their own trucking service, Walmart has their own trucking service. We don't know what their numbers are like. So it could be higher, it could be a little lower, but when we add that together, it's a shit storm, man. Like it's not fucking good.
Right? Make ready
You
is
know?
the best thing you could do in
Yeah.
this situation. Wow. And it says the mandate throws a major wrench in the Canadian and North American supply chains, obviously, with grocers, food producers, and the auto parts industries and building materials among the sectors expected to be most affected. Huh. So, grocers and food producers, we know that obviously, but the auto parts industry and building materials, do you have any idea what kind of trickle down effects or effects that would immediately have?
Oh, that's massive. That's massive. Okay.
Right.
If you shut down our auto industry, we're fucked. Like, especially where I'm at. I'm in Windsor, right?
Right,
Windsor
yeah.
is an auto industry fucking city.
It's like
Without
the
the auto
Canadian
industry,
Detroit.
yeah, there is no Windsor without an auto industry, right? So if you're saying, oh, the trucks can't come across, the metal, the parts, the whatever involved with the auto industry, everyone's getting laid off. Everybody, right? Like half of the city would be unemployed overnight. And then with half the city unemployed overnight, well, they no longer have the money to spend in the stores that are still allowed to be open. So they're going to take major hits too. It's
Oh,
like,
economics.
hey, it's like if I was Trudeau and I'm like, just saying, I'm like, if I want to destroy this country as fast as I possibly can, how could I do that? I just shut down the trucking and it would all fall apart. That's the simple logic, right? You destroy everything.
What
Everything.
are they trying to accomplish here? Like, are they purposely just trying to destroy our own nation so that it could be given over to like the Russians, the Chinese, or something? Like what?
Well, I have a theory on this.
This is
If you look at
nuts.
throughout history, and I mean, like, you can go back as far in history as you want. The last official act of any nation is to loot the wealth of the nation before the collapse. Okay. You can look at it with the fall of Rome, Greece, a whole bunch of different scenarios throughout history. When they know
Russia.
the country, yeah, Russia, right?
Boris Yeltsin and all the oligarchs just
Yes.
pillaging before Putin tossed them all out.
Yeah, even Germany. You can say it about anything, any country that's collapsed, right? Like you go back throughout history, and the last official act of any nation is to loot the wealth of the nation and control the collapse, so that way they can come out on top, right? And then you can also think of socialism and communism. You never enforce it on the people; you make them beg for it. You make things so absolutely fucking horrible that they're like, "Fuck, fine, I'll take it. Just give me something."
Manufactured consent at that point.
Yes.
In this case, they're using a combination of media manipulation, but then they're also just wearing you down and beating you down, setting precedents to impose their tyranny upon you. Like,
Yeah, and then once again, it goes back to Klaus Schwab's, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing, but at least you're not starving to death, because we'll at least give you some food so you can work in your fucking slave trades that we fucking set up for you. And you'll be happy because you're not dying. Or at least you're eating, right? That's his logic. Fuck.
Ricky Sidu saying eating is overrated. Hey, well, fasting is good for you. Sorry, my throat is a bit of a tickle. I swallowed my White Claw in the wrong way a second ago. I don't have COVID. Trust me, I don't. I take vitamin D, zinc, quercetin, and a few other things every day that keep me healthy. I haven't been sick since I started taking these at the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic even started.
Vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Those are the big three.
That's the one that I'm missing, is vitamin C. I see that in every kit, and I have the multivitamin gummies, but I don't think those are as good as having a specific vitamin C. So that's what I need to get in my kit here.
Yeah, and it's cheap, man.
But it's crazy how I haven't been sick. Like, I've never been not sick, not having a cold or anything for this long in my life. And usually I get sick because I do binge drink from time to time, as you can see with the diagonal. And usually what happens is every once in a while I get sick when I'm hungover because, I stop eating properly for like a day or two. Or this and that, I forget to take the vitamin, I forget to do all the healthy things for a day or two. But since I've been taking these vitamins, that hasn't even happened. Like, I have a quick recovery, and it's just like, it's so insane how they can't promote these things that will simply just help you, no matter who you are even.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if you're more obese, you're just, like, multiplying your risk. And all of those fat chunks that you got in you, each is a biohazard waiting for you to, like, not just be affected by COVID, but by anything. So
yeah, and I'm never gonna get tested ever, no matter what. But I'm like almost 100% positive that about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, I had COVID. And the reason I know that is because a bunch of people were smoking doobs at a party. I don't smoke joints personally, but I was trying to quit smoking at the time, right? And I fucking took half of a cigarette from some chick. The entire party fucking tested positive the next day. Like, the entire fucking party went and got tested. And yeah, I was sick for like 2-3 days, but honestly, I could compare it to allergies. I would say allergies was actually a little bit worse. It was very, very fucking mild. It was a joke. It made me laugh so hard. I'm like, this is what we shut down the country for. And the chick that I actually fucking shared a smoke with, she has throat cancer and multiple sclerosis. She's immunocompromised, and she was going through chemo treatments, and she compared it to fucking allergies.
Man, multiple comorbidities, and even she powered through it.
Yeah, she was comparing it to allergies. The only difference is it took me 2 days. It took her 5. But either way, she was still smoking and doing her regular life duties and shit, doing laundry, cleaning the house. Like, she wasn't bedbound, Like,
right.
It's a fucking joke.
I feel like once you've been through all that stuff, that this is just like a walk in the park, right?
Yeah, straight up, right?
It is crazy, though, how some people just get affected crazily, where it's just like you hear about something, and especially if it's one of your guys, and then they just rub it in. But it's not like it's absolutely nothing, but these things, like getting a flu, can be very bad for somebody, even in their 50s or 60s, if you have one of the wrong conditions. But that now they're taking over that fact with all the fear mongering, and then it just compounds upon it.
Yeah,
So
and there's so many
they've
different types of flus too. Like the
right,
stomach flu is probably like the worst one you can have, where you're just puking nonstop for 3-4 days. You know, that
right.
is 100 times worse than COVID. 100 times worse than COVID.
It's really weird because I don't think I've ever had a stomach. I don't think I've ever thrown up from something that wasn't alcohol.
Really, you're lucky as fuck, man. Because it's like every
It's
couple
weird.
of years I get that one. It's like 3 days where you're just puking your brains out. Yeah.
Interesting. Fuck. Well,
Well,
anyways,
you don't
back
have
to
kids though, man. Yeah, you gotta have a kid, and then you'll get all these things.
oh yeah, those little
Right?
those little germ factories. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Anyways, back to this article here, just about the truckers. They're saying that roughly 20% of Canadian truck drivers operating across the border are unvaccinated. This is what the president of the Private Motor Truck Council of Canada is saying. And this is the funny thing, because I was hearing, didn't they like repeal this? Didn't we get a victory here? And I'm thinking this is what the supposed victory was, that they repealed our victory, which was really just a consolation. It says, although the Canadian Border Services Agency said earlier this week that unvaccinated Canadian truckers would be exempt from having to quarantine or provide proof of a negative molecular test when coming back, the federal government later corrected this and said that they would still need to quarantine upon their return. So it was just basically saying, like, their consolation was that you don't have to quarantine for 2 weeks or whatever when you get back. But now they've even repealed that. So they were never going to not, like, allow you to keep your job or allow the supply chain to keep going through as it should to keep everybody well fed. These are the kind of consolations that they give.
Give me 1 sec. I gotta deal with this dog, man.
And this like
So is it time?
this news report here was just infuriating. I'll only play like a minute or two of it, but god damn, I don't watch the news normally, but seeing their false dialectic where they have one side of the argument, like with this news reporter who's like pretending to be on the side of the truckers and all that, and then this other guy who's just like dead against it, and then they just go back and forth and kind of like a polite but very scripted dualistic narrative back and forth with each other. It just seems so canned. It's creepy almost to me.
And just as urgently, will the new vaccine mandate for cross-border Canadian truckers that came into effect yesterday cause a massive supply chain shortage for consumers? To talk about that and lots more, we are now joined by the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Dominic LeBlanc. Minister, great to have you back on the program. Yesterday, your government slapped this new vaccine mandate on all Canadian truckers who are going across the border. They need now to be fully vaccinated. You know the concern about this. The Truckers Association has said this is going to pull 16,000 truckers, Canadian truckers, off the road. And this is going to lead to supply chain disruptions and higher prices. What is the plan to mitigate that?
So, Evan, this is not a surprise for the trucking industry. We had indicated that this would.
Oh yeah, this is his point. It's not a surprise. We already told you we were going to do this. Screw you.
Yeah.
Last year, in the middle of January, we
I've never heard of this guy before, but I hated him so much after watching this whole video.
indicated that at the end of November.
We have a new person to add to the list.
They
Okay.
have known this is the case. The Americans are imposing next week a similar mandate. Evan, what's disrupting supply chains and what's endangering supply chains is COVID, is the pandemic. And the best way out of the pandemic is vaccination.
And that's all you need to hear. They go back and forth with this retarded dialectic. This guy.
Have you ever bet at Evan that isn't an asshole? I think that every
I get
Evan
what
I
you're
know
putting
of.
down.
Yeah. Fuck.
Political puppet theater. He says, "Ah, yes, it's called theater. He's a snake like the rest." Yes, political puppet theater. The name really says it.
Yeah.
Vitamin Edgy D. Let's go. Anyways, what was Well, what do you think the food shortages are going to be like for this? So, I haven't experienced much food shortages in my life. I'm a young guy. I remember at the beginning of this all in March 2020, there was that rush for toilet papers, and all of a sudden you saw very little food selection within the grocery store, and then it kind of came back. But I
Okay.
have no precedent for this in my mind. You're a bit older than me.
I haven't experienced this either, but I do have a bit of logic that I would think of about this, right? So most of the trucks that are coming in and out aren't refrigerated trucks. So you have to think about what the percentage of refrigerated trucks are going to be, and then they're going to prioritize them. Okay, so there's certain things that we produce enough of here in Canada on our own that we're not going to have to worry about it, right? Like we have our own dairy cartel. So we're going to have milk, and I know eggs are actually involved in the dairy cartel, just
That's good.
slapped in there, right?
I
So
love
we'll
my
have
milk and my eggs.
we'll have eggs, we'll have beef. There is going to be a shortage on fucking chicken, and all the prices of all this shit's going to go up because the feed for them is going to go up. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Now, so as
That's-
for refrigerated items, there's going to be certain shortages. It won't be that you can't get it, but you're going to pay a lot more is the point, right? It's going to be supply and demand. The things that are more of a concern to me, honestly, is going to be they're going to start prioritizing what comes across. They're going to say, what can we make the most money off of that's going to come across, and what are people in demand of the most, right? So they're going to take off the cheaper things that don't generate a lot of sales, in my opinion, like things like Mr. Noodles, shit like that, Kraft Dinner. No, they want you to pay for the expensive shit. This is my prediction. I'm no expert, right?
Right. Well, Kraft Dinner in a pack of 12, it costs like $8 if you get that deal.
But it's
So-
not just going to be food shortages though,
Right.
because everything comes in on the trucks, right? So you have to think about it. All the clothing, your fucking shoes, your fucking, all your things of fucking toilet paper. I shouldn't have said that one. Fuck, forget that one. It's not on the list. Fuck. But shit like that. Okay, so it's really going to come down to prioritizing things. But one of the ones that they don't make an insane profit off of, that I thought about this one ahead of time and I did stockpile a little bit. Almost all the dog food here in Canada comes out of the United States. And if you go to your pet store and you go and you just fucking pick up every single bag and look at where it's imported from, almost all of it comes from the United.
Oh, whoa. Looks like we're having connection problem. Almost all of it comes from the United States. Let me just make sure. John is coming in all right. Is this just me, or is there a bit of a freeze going on? Yeah, he's fucked. Okay, yeah, I think you're back, almost. Oh. Okay, yeah, just unmute yourself. I think you're good.
Okay,
Hello?
yeah. Sorry, I think my internet blinked for a split second there, man.
Yeah, no worries. You're good now.
Okay. Yeah,
So dog food, it's mostly an import from the U.S., and this is going to be a problem.
yeah, like there's things like that, right? Because they're going to prioritize people over animals, obviously, right? Just like a lot of our feeds, things like that. I seen a video of a chicken farm where they were just literally killing all the fucking chickens because of fucking vaccine mandates. There wasn't enough people to go in there. I seen a different chicken farm where they couldn't get the feed that they needed for the fucking chickens, shit like that, right? So I mean, it could be a whole bunch of things, but do I expect everybody to fucking starve? No. Are you going to pay a shitload more for everything that you fucking get? Absolutely. Get it while it's cheap. Stockpile the things that you can have on your shelf for a long time, and anything that they're not making a lot of money off of is going to be those things that you're not seeing on your shelves, right? Because they're going to maximize their profits. They're not just going to say we're not making money anymore. So they're going to say, okay, instead of shipping over fucking a truckload of noodles where we make 10 cents a fucking package, they're going to be like, we're going to ship over this expensive ass fucking coffee instead. Shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, they're going to try to make their money back. They're going to do whatever they can to...
Like I said, I'm no expert, but this is my predictions.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't heard this perspective yet, so Fuck yeah, well, I could agree. If they're trying to make an extra buck, they will, you know.
Exactly.
And
You have to
they-
prioritize.
They create the shortages in many ways, you know. And we'll probably get into this later, but even when it comes to how they manage the money to help people who are affected in hospitals, right? Right now in the Toronto Star, they just released an article saying that these hospitals are so overrun and they're so short on drugs that could treat the virus that they have to choose between who is the most susceptible to it. You know, and they're trying in a roundabout way say that, oh, it's the unwaxed fault for like they're creating this burden. That's partially what they're trying to say, but at the same time, it's like you've prevented and silenced all alternative treatments that are not costly, and you made it impossible to get it, calling it horse dewormer, and then ridiculing anybody who tries to get it, like threatening to take away the licenses of all doctors who try to prescribe it.
Exactly.
This
right?
poison ivy stuff. Let's just call it poison ivy. We all know what it's called.
Yeah.
In all these situations, so they manufacture the shortages. So they're in charge of how these things are distributed to people. We have to find out how to get these things, how to know what these things are, and
Exactly.
you know, use it for our own health.
It's
And-
just like, sorry, it's just like the hydro that they were treating people with. We all know what I'm talking about. The
Yeah, some
hydro
good
in the beginning,
hydro.
right? The good hydro. Yeah, well, there were some other bigger companies that bought up all those companies and shut them down or turned them into things that produce other things.
Oh,
other than
really?
that,
I didn't know that.
hydro, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they did that.
It's making
fuck,
sense
year
because we
and a
don't
half
hear
ago.
about hydro much anymore.
Right, you know, and we're in Canada, you should be hearing about it. Fuck yeah, so like that's another one, right? You create the shortage of it, right? And then you can be like, oh, well, there's not enough of it, and it's ineffective anyway. It's not as good as the fucking outdoor shit compared to this hydro you guys want. You
Yeah,
know?
right,
So
right.
like, yeah, we're gonna give you this outdoor shit that costs you 10 times as much. Fucking it's a business, man. The world is a business. That's essentially it. You
The world
always
is a
look-
business, Mr. Beale. Have you ever seen that movie,
Yes.
Network?
Yes.
That's a great movie. Watch Network if you've never seen it. That was probably one of my favorite movies and one of the most red-pilling movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
1976, Network. Amazing movie.
Hey, since we're talking about business and just, I don't know, do you want to talk about the Quebec thing for a second? The
Yeah,
thing
let's
that
go
I
for that
popped up
right
for
now.
you?
I think we've done the trucker thing. Go to the protest Saturday in Toronto, Sunday in Waterloo. I'll probably be there. We'll hang out. We'll network with some people. I'll get some good footage. I'll probably be hanging out with some celeb motherfuckers, some big mother truckers. So let's go. Let's do this.
All right, so this is just my own theories and some math that I ran on my own, okay? This isn't published anywhere. This is just my own opinions, okay? So we've all heard about Quebec is going to start fining the whatever you want
Unwaxed.
to call it.
Just
Unwaxed,
say
okay, yeah, the
unwaxed.
unwaxed, right? They're going to
Unwaxed.
start fining
The hairy
unwaxed.
pussies and the hairy genitals.
Okay.
Yes.
So they haven't said exactly what this number is going to be. But they did said it's going to be significant, and they didn't say whether it's going to be a one-time fine or a monthly fine or a weekly or daily, or they didn't.
I
haven't
do
given
know
us the
that
details.
the premier said $50 to $100 tax fines are not enough, and they're
Exactly.
coming in the next few weeks. That's what he
Yes.
has said. That's what I've seen in the latest articles.
Okay, now what if you don't pay these fines? Okay, well, I just seen some fucking ugly ass broad on CTV, I think it was.
Oh, of course, as they are.
Yeah, well, they're on CTV. They're all made for radio, but end up on TV. Anyway,
Right.
So this chick was literally, and this is one of the so-called experts, saying that, well, if you don't pay it, eventually it'll go to collections, and then from collections you will end up in jail because this
Ooh.
is, it's. At that point, it'll be a federal fine. It'll be almost like not paying your child support, okay? Which you can actually go to jail for that. So at some point, you can go to jail for not paying these fines. Now, what if this fine's $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 or, you know, like who knows what it could be? It doesn't matter. But the point is, if everybody says, no, I'm not paying the fucking fine, and you have to take it to court, okay? Then at that point, if they say, okay, you're going to jail, Okay. So I did some math on what this would actually mean for the government if they did want to implement this. Okay. Because we all know that all these other provinces are going to fucking follow suit. They all got a meeting coming up, and this is what they're all going there to discuss. I'm almost positive on that. Okay. So if all the provinces implement this exact same thing and they make it a ridiculous amount of money, because they already said it's not going to be 50 or $100, right? And everybody's already struggling to fucking survive, losing their jobs, houses, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, right? So I did some math on what it actually costs to keep a person in jail for a fucking single day. So to keep a person locked up in Canada for a single day, it's an average of $312 per person per day. Okay, so if we do the math, and they say it's 10% of the country is unwaxed, which I believe it's higher than that, but let's say it's 10%, that's their math. Okay, we're talking $118.5 million per day. Okay, now if we take that into a year of having these people incarcerated, it's $43 billion a year.
Right. So that's everybody, all of that 10%.
Yeah, if they
accounted.
were to take the entire 10%.
To the
okay?
hypothetical to the highest extent. So this is like
Yes.
hypothetically the highest it would be
Yeah.
in this
Well,
scenario.
no, it actually gets worse from there.
Oh, right,
Actually,
because
okay?
you could compound fines upon each other, right?
Oh, no, I'm not even saying that. Do you think they have enough fucking open spots in jail to hold 10% of the population? Fuck no, they don't. Okay. They would have to build all new jails. Several of them. I mean, a lot. A fucking
No,
lot.
they'll probably let out the child rapists.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and the
exactly, you know?
fentanyl dealers. And,
But it's still, you still
Right.
need to put 10%. Actually, believe it or not, like 10%, you can let all those people out, put all of us in there, and it's still 10%, right? Like, even if you let out all the fucking mass murderers and everything, still 10%. It's $43 billion a day just to maintain it. That's not including the price of building these facilities and all that other shit, right? Okay, not only that, then you have to account for the fact that all of those people are no longer paying taxes. Because when you're in jail, you don't pay tax. You're in jail, right? Okay, so
that's the beauty of jail,
Yeah,
right?
right?
You smoke some good hash with the Trailer Park Boys. You fucking do a couple lines in the yard.
Okay. And then you have to think about
You
what
left
the
some shit.
logistics would be on how much of, like, it's going to take at least 1% of our population, because I'm pretty sure that's roughly the number. I think it's one guard to every 10 inmates is what the number is in jail. So now you're going to need 1% of our population to work in jail. 1% of our entire country would have to work in jail in order to hold the other 10% there. So now you have to pay them extra on top of that, build these facilities. So what if just nobody pays these fucking fines? Because there is no way in fucking hell that our government could afford to do that. If you think of our GDP or gross domestic product and all of that, we would be bankrupt overnight if they actually tried to fucking do this. That's just the math, and this is just math that I did on my own. I figured out how much it costs to put a person in jail, what it costs per year, how many people there are, all that shit. This is just simple basic math, right? I'm no expert, but all wars are bankers' wars, and they don't have the bankroll to fight this. That's just the
Right.
math. Even if only half of the people were to half of them paid it and the other half didn't, they still don't have the bankroll to fucking fight this, man. I don't think they could even fucking take 1% of our country and lock them up. Mathematically.
Well, I think that at the point where it comes to locking them up, that's when they won't do that. But then they'll implement the social credit score system. And that they have a lot of money invested into it, and they will mine your data through this digital ID, through the social credit score system. They'll mine the data of all the people who are compliant. And they're not going to lock us up for this. I think that is something that, you know, they're trying to use it as like a controlled
Threat.
opposition,
Yeah.
like a threat, but also like, oh, don't, like, at the end of the day, they're not going to do that to most people, but more so it's going to be like a credit score, but for your position in society. So they're going to make things harder upon you, and they're going to compound all these taxes, all these financial penalties, all these losses of freedoms upon you with their digital ID, with their vaccine passport, social credit score system that they're hoping to implement.
Okay.
And it's like people have to understand this greater picture in
Yeah.
order to understand how they're going to implement this. Because like you're saying, you're actually just disproved, you debunked the fact that they literally can't do this.
Yeah, they can't.
These people are sick, and they're evil, and they're actually very intelligent at high levels. They have smart people doing evil things. So they've thought a lot of this out. In the World Economic Forum, they're thinking of ways to make you like a global citizen.
Okay.
And part of
Here's
not
the
being
other
a
side of
global
that coin, though.
citizen is, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so yeah, here's the other side of that coin, though, right? What percent of our country is it again that's $200 away from insolvency? I forget the exact number, but I know it's a shit ton. I forget the exact percentage, but it's a lot. It is a fucking lot. Most of our country is $200 away from being bankrupt. Okay. So if you're going to say, hey, I'm giving you a $500 fine and I'm $200 away from being bankrupt already, why wouldn't I personally go to the bank, take all my money out, whatever I had, shut down my accounts, and just fucking claim that I'm broke as fuck and go collect welfare and then work for cash? That is what most people would do, and then be like, how are you going to take my fucking money when I'm on welfare? You can't find somebody, like, you can't, the government can't take money that they just gave to me when it's just enough to
Right.
cover my rent and groceries. And then you work for cash under the table, and at the same time they're just as fucked as they were. It's only going to work for the people that have a shitload of money in the banks. And even if I did have a shitload of money in the bank, what I would do is I would take all my money out of the bank and be like, I have a bad gambling problem. I fucking pissed it away.
Go on a bank run?
You know, I
Go on a little bank run? No, not saying
know?
that, but I get, I get what
Right?
you're putting down.
You
Fuck.
liquidate your assets, you turn those into tangible assets that you actually hold, and you use them as you need them without anybody ever fucking knowing. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm on welfare. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna fucking expect me to pay this when I'm on assistance. I'm on social assistance, guys. Oh, okay. Well, now you have just become a drain on the economy instead of adding into it. Right?
Like Sam
And
Hyde is
can you
talking
imagine
to,
if they
to
add
the
another
debt collectors.
10% of our country onto the social credit or onto the welfare system?
Well,
Right?
UBI is what they want people on. I feel like they see most of us as useless eaters, as they call them in the World Economic Forum. So they're trying to push more of us into that bracket, and I think that people overestimate. Like for now, the truckers matter. The truckers are a huge part of our supply chain, but in the future, they want to X them out of the plan for them to have control over society, right? Like BlackRock and Vanguard, they want to snatch up all the properties, all the land uh, throughout Canada, and they want to push people into smart cities, like
Through the
the
world,
UN
yeah.
Agenda 2030 smart cities. So they want to make it unlivable. They want to make food supply shortages in all of these more remote areas in the country and rural areas in Canada, and push people towards these smart cities, smart grids, where you're all sharing, you don't really own anything. But then they can make their GMO vertical farms where they're
Yeah.
just creating GMO foods and
Yeah.
pesticide-ridden plants, like going literally upwards, and then they just do whatever the fuck they want around that, push you inwards, have you being controlled by 5G surveillance, mining all your data, making money off of your every move,
Yeah. This only
forcing you
works
to be a
though.
good citizen, right?
This only works though if we allow them to take the currency and turn it digital. If we
Right.
all were to go to the bank, not saying to do this because it's illegal to do it, but if we all were to go to the bank and take all of our money out and just start trading with each other with our own currency and never deposit it back into the bank, they'd be fucked. They can't do shit.
Right. And this is something that Catherine Austin Fitz has said. She is like the CEO of Solari Report, and she's also like a financial whistleblower within the US government. And she has said you need to have cash Fridays, at least to just get into this. So on every Friday, you make it a thing and you make it in your head that you only use cash on Fridays. And once you get this into your head and you make it a habit, then you could start applying that to the rest of your life. But the point is to get off of this monetary system where you're funding your enemies.
Yeah.
Because when you're using your bank account, when you're being surveilled by them,
You're complying. Yeah.
you're complying and you're adding to their power. You're funding your own enemy.
And people say practice what you preach. I used my bank card 5 times last year.
Right. Well, you are like a glowing example.
Yeah.
I'm not so
5
good at that,
times.
but I'm starting to learn, and it's just like baby steps to implement, which is why I'm going to the trucker rally, obviously to make content because that is my niche or whatever.
Yeah.
So I other people don't know how to make content. I do. But I want to learn more how to self-sustain with food. I want to know. I want to network with people who could help me out, and maybe I could help them out. Maybe I could make a commercial for their private food growing business for their farm to get their product out to people who are based and who understand what is going on. We have kind of like an underground network parallel society growing. So let's fucking do it. Let's get that going, man.
Yeah. I want to address the chat for a second.
Okay,
Canadianism.
Can I just dip for a second?
Yeah.
I'll throw you up on the full screen.
Yeah. No worries, man.
Hold
We're
on.
good. Yeah. So Canadianism is saying this is exactly why crypto is better. Okay. Tell that to the people in Kazakhstan. Because they shut off all their internet, their social media, they shut down all that shit, right? So if you don't have access to the internet, your crypto is no good. Not only that, if you have a tangible asset, something you hold in your hand, the belief of anything having value is only because people believe that it has value. If you have the dollar in your hand, a lot of people believe that that dollar has value. If you have gold and silver in your hand, that has value. If you have a gun in your hand, that has value. Crypto, I do agree, it does have some value in some aspects, but as a reserve currency, no. Crypto only works when the world is going good, in my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to invest in. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying there are better things. Cash is not always what I'd recommend. Gold, silver, they always hold their value. Personally, I think gold and silver should be the reserve currency of the entire world. That's what we should all be using and trading amongst each other with it. I am personally, I that's what I've invested. I have invested a shitload into gold and silver. And if you look back all the way to the times of fucking Jesus, okay, if you had 1 ounce of gold, you can go buy the nicest suit in the entire land. Okay. If you have 1 ounce of gold today, you can go buy the nicest suit in all the land. Right. Now, if you go back 100 years ago, 5 cents could get you a hot dog, a bag of chips, and a pop. Okay. And now, if you're a good boy and you put your 5 cents in the bank and you were to go out today, you can't even make a fucking phone call. Right. This is why the dollar, it's only good for short-term purposes. Gold and silver will always hold its value. Right. That's what I keep trying to tell people. And not only that, like the gold and silver that I purchased way back when, I bought it for a price that was reasonable then, and I could buy the same amount of things with it now, even though inflation has gone nuts since then. So that's what I try and tell people anyway. Gold and silver is real money. Crypto is good only when the economy is good and when your government isn't trying to fucking destroy you, because they could easily just shut your internet off and you're fucked.
Right. Well, Kazakhstan, their internet has been down for a few days.
That was the example I gave. Yes.
Oh, okay,
actually, It's been more than a few days. I think we're going on like fucking 14 days now.
Right. They're still there. Is their internet still shut down?
Pretty sure. I'd have to check, but I'm almost positive it still
Damn.
is. Yeah.
Well,
I got a feeling it's going to be like a month or two before it goes back up. It's not going to happen until fucking Russia steps in or something.
right. Yeah. Well, we could wait it out, like maybe till next week to see what's really going on, because there's a lot of speculation what's happening in Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
I know some people are saying it's because of the vaccine mandates. I think that probably has something to do with it, but
I think that's the main issue. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I think they said it's over the gas price, but I'm calling bullshit, man. You're gonna say it's because they doubled the price of gas. I'm really gonna call bullshit on that one, but we'll have to wait and see. It's hard to tell when there's no information coming in or out, right?
Right.
I gotta step away for a sec though, bro.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna check out what's going on in Entropy. We have a question. Did you do the rap battle redo yet? Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah,
we don't know when that's gonna happen. That's for special occasions. Okay, we're not gonna sully our reputations for just a normal stream like this, where we're trying to get information and
birthdays and mega bowls.
Yeah, birthdays and mega bowls. My birthday is in May, so take that for what you will.
I'm
All
in
right.
July, so I guess I'll have to get you then.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a sec.
So we got some people in the entropy chat. We got Federal Poster saying, "Imagine getting tested and not ignoring how you feel, and sneezing on babies." Jonas in the chat saying they want to destroy the country. He says Bernie Sanders says he likes food lines. So does Trudeau. Commies. I don't know. It's pretty fucked. Yeah. He also says, don't forget. Federal Poster says, don't forget the 52,000 chickens that Maple Lodge scrapped in Leamington because of worker vax mandates. Yeah, they're just getting rid of shit because of the logistics surrounding it are getting completely screwed over. They'll throw a bunch of shit out just because it's considered a waste because all, all the laws and the logistics surrounding it were screwed over by tyranny, essentially. Clayton Boogsby, good to see you. Asher saying we all going to jail. Thousands going to jail. Man, it would be pretty awesome if we're all just hanging out in jail, fucking like running the jails together, bigot style. Hell yeah. Asher's saying I'm going to drive without a license, and thousands of other people will be driving around with no license. You know, it's the same thing as putting me in jail. I don't know exactly what that means, but hey, with this new digital ID and vaccine passport shit, with the climate lockdowns that we know are probably coming, they're gonna limit your carbon footprint by saying that you can't drive. So we'll all be driving illegally, essentially. I did see a new report that said in 2026 that all new cars in Canada or in the US will have a kill switch so that they could turn it off. They, meaning the government or whoever else, can turn it off if they deem fit. Like maybe you're a criminal, maybe you travel too much for your social credit score. These are all things that could happen. Now I want to get on to another topic here. Father denied visitation rights because he was a conspiracy theorist and anti-vaccine. So this is one of the newest impositions that the elite have upon us is trying to separate the kid from the parent. Trying to separate families, religion, traditionalism, all the traditional things that had us rooted in some kind of past that actually worked, that actually built this nation to what it is, that actually built Western nations to what they are. Mainly being European culture, Christianity, a good family structure. All these things are being rooted away, ripped away, and now I feel like they're going after children extra hard in order to take away the parents' ability to choose for them, and saying that children can consent against their parents, and then indoctrinating them to literally be separated, to literally fight against them. In this case here, Quebec man loses child visitation rights for being an unwaxed conspiracy theorist. So, a Superior Court judge has temporarily suspended the visitation rights of a Quebec man after the court heard he is unwaxed and opposes the health regulations. In a ruling handed down on December 23rd, so it was a good Christmas gift for him, the judge wrote, "It would normally be in the best interest of the child to have contact with his father, but it is not in his best interest to have contact with him if he is unwaxed and opposed to health measures in the present epidemiological context." The decision followed a petition by the father that his access to his 12-year-old child be extended by 1 day over the Christmas holidays. So all he wanted was 1 day more over the Christmas holidays. And it seems like his vindictive C-word of a wife, responded with that, countered with that, by putting in evidence that the father was unwaxed and a conspiracy theorist by posts he made on social media. So this is where there's a tough line between, do you want to express yourself and like try to red pill people publicly, or have that potentially used against you so some vindictive bitch wife can take away your fucking kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
this isn't the first time this has happened.
Right. Well, there's I think the 14 or 15-year-old kid where in BC, the father was not allowed to do anything or say anything about the hormone treatment, the hormone therapy that his child was receiving, and then he got a gag order by the court and was getting arrested for it.
I think where I'm at in Windsor was the first one. I'll get into that when you're done this one.
Okay, yeah. So the judge noted that while the 12-year-old had been waxed, so it's not even a question of that at this point, which, you should be allowed to be unwaxed and still not have to be, this doesn't have to be taken in. Like, it's this goddamn dad, for fuck's sakes. The judge says, the contagiousness of the oh my god variant is clearly established, and the limited protection afforded by getting waxed does not offer sufficient safeguards for a meeting with his unwaxed father. The ruling also noted that the mother has 2 other children who are 7 months and 4 years old, and that neither have been inoculated because they're not available to children younger than 5. And they say under the circumstances, it's not in the interest of any of the 3 children to see the unwaxed father. Now, how many kids have we seen actually perish from this or get horribly sick that it affects them for life? Almost none. And when it does happen, it's like there's never any transparency. We don't. Yeah. It's always like the family wants privacy at this point. And
I haven't looked at that number in 2 months, but 2 months ago it was 17 people under the age of 18 had died from COVID-19 in Canada, and that wasn't even the cause of death. It just said died with COVID-19. Like 5 of those were car accidents. Another 2 died from cancer. In reality, it's zero. Since the beginning. I'm not talking about the new strains. Like, we can go right back to the original fucking scheme, right? The original bullshit. And all the way from there up until now. Like I said, 2 months ago, so maybe it's 19 or 20 now, whatever. But 17 in Canada under the age of 18.
I do know of one that got memory hold for all I know, because I haven't heard of it since. But in here in London, Ontario, there was one 19-year-old Syrian refugee, or Syrian immigrant or refugee, but apparently he died from it. But and you look at him and he looks like not obese, he probably didn't have any comorbidities. But then you see all the comments on the story that they try to push out to amplify the dangers and the fears of it. You see a bunch of people saying, like, we know who this guy is. He had he either committed suicide or had an overdose of some sort because he was in trouble with the law. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then there was a preceding news story where the parents were all mad and saying, like, oh no, he died from exactly what they said. It's not from drugs or anything. So you have a Syrian Muslim refugee family covering the honor of their own family and their child, complicit with the news's narrative. And I don't know the exact truth on that situation, but I could take a gander.
Yeah, let's all guess on that one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you have the Windsor
I can show you the Windsor
that you
one.
can pull up?
Yeah.
Because I do not know about that, and I'm pretty interested in what's going on. I do have a lot of other stuff about how they're fucking with kids, both literally and figuratively.
Once again, we're going to change a couple of words here just to avoid getting flagged. So Windsor court ruling puts COVID-19 hoax belief at center of custody fight. This is from March 5th, 2021.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna make sure you're up here properly.
Okay, yeah.
I don't see it.
Just let me know.
All right, can you try to share your screen again?
Okay, yeah, I gotta stop in order to start again, but yeah. All right, I'm sharing.
There you go.
Okay. Windsor court ruling puts COVID-19 hoax belief at the center of custody fight. This was posted March 5th, 2021. Okay, which I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe Windsor, my fucking shitty ass city, was the first one to do this stupid ass shit.
Right.
A judge in Windsor has ruled the person's vocal disbelief about COVID-19 is a factor in a child custody case. Ontario Superior Court Justice George W. King denied a Windsor man interim custody of his kids because the man's fervent anti-fasking beliefs means that he wouldn't take appropriate actions to keep them safe from COVID-19. Legal experts say the ruling is consistent with past custody rulings involving the issues of children's health, but say it is significant because it articulates the new standards and language specific to COVID-19. Okay, so the part that I've highlighted here is for a reason, because they have new standards due to this shit about cockfits. Okay, so they've literally created new rules and regulations about COVID-19 specifically to do with this. Okay, so we'll keep going here. Yavar Hamid sounds like the name you'd expect to be in this.
I love how the subheadline is "Freedom of Expression Limited." Oh yeah, that's how I love a paragraph in the news.
Yeah, right. Okay. So Yavar Hamid, an Ottawa-based human rights lawyer, said that the people do have the right to express themselves, but that expression is limited at the point where it can harm or come to another person. So it's not just a matter of freedom of conscience, it's freedom of expression protected by the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It's expressions that simply might relate because of the underlying actions on the safety of another person, he said. Okay, so what they're basically trying to say is that you're not allowed to freedom of speech if it doesn't fit their narrative because your words could manipulate somebody to hurt them in some which way. Like, they're basically trying to twist it to say that freedom of expression and your freedom of rights, basically those don't exist if they believe it doesn't fit their narrative anymore. Okay, so if it doesn't fit their version of science, not real science, but their version of science, if it doesn't fit their narrative, then you no longer have rights, is essentially what they're fucking saying.
Yeah, of course they'll say like you could say whatever you want as long as you're the crazy person yelling it into a wall in like the corner of your own basement. But as soon as you encounter any real life situation, every aspect of our system is going to destroy you.
Yes. Okay. So now it didn't just go that far as to say he doesn't have the rights anymore of visitation, because I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but he's allowed supervised visits in the CAS building while complying to all of their regulations 3 times a month for an hour. Okay. That's what it said in there. Anyway, so now the judge went on to say, the ruling includes giving the mother the power to make decisions around vacations. Okay, we all know what I'm talking about.
Vacations, yes.
Right? So now the father has no right to say whether that child is allowed to take a vacation or not take a vacation. He is completely ruled out of it because they have just said that this guy is now a crazy person because he doesn't believe in vacations.
Right.
Okay, so even if that vacation might be bad and that vacation might kill you, it doesn't matter anymore because, well, you're a fucking crazy person and you don't have the right to say whether your fucking minor is allowed to take a vacation or not. So because you have a different opinion than them, you're now a crazy person that's not allowed to say what's right and wrong or what's good or bad for your fucking child.
So it's kind of like the communist era with the Stasi and how they pathologize, meaning they give people a mental profile that says that they're not capable of making proper decisions. So they must be a crazy person because they disagree with the government. Yeah. And they're doing the same thing too. So this is Bolshevik in a way. This is very Bolshevik-esque. Now, it's not the same thing as communism. It's not the same thing as fascism. This is an entirely new, like, technocratic authoritarianism that takes some of the worst elements of each ideology, you know, and then it expands upon them, and it's going to add technology into it. It's really unprecedented. So using fascism or communism even to try to describe it is actually part of a controlled opposition narrative, in my opinion, because what it takes to understand all of this is clear thinking and understanding which specific elements apply and what is exactly the truth and how to explain it as clearly as possible so that people will understand. You could have enough people among your ranks, people who won't snitch on you, people who you could arguably get on your side in order to be able to do what you have to do to survive, to keep your nation afloat, to keep your people afloat. It's insane.
So a little bit of free advice to anybody that thinks their wife might be trying to leave them soon. Get rid of all your social media, create new ones, and basically just boast about being a retard. Be like, oh, I fucking love all this bullshit and I'm all for it, and fucking, you know, just completely change your social media, like erase everything and start a new person, and like basically do the opposite of everything you think is right on social media and just go from there.
Right. This is actionable advice for people who are in a tight scenario. So put that out there if you need to. Like, I'm normally not for lying, but when you're trying to protect your life from evil tyrants who are trying to destroy you and trying to fleece you for everything you're worth, then you got to do what you got to do.
When you're trying to stop your kid from going on vacation, do whatever the fuck you have to do. Protect
and they
that
might
kid
be
from a vacation.
They might be going on vacation on to Australia on a lesbian date. So let me show you what I mean by that. And this is entirely relevant. So buckle in. Libs of TikTok, one of my favorite Twitter accounts. I've been banned off Twitter, so I'm now on Twitter as
Don't say it. You'll get banned again, dude.
as Good Citizen 4567, aka Unsuspicious Man. And so Libs of TikTok says, Australia is so lost. This is awful on so many levels. And let's see what this propaganda on TikTok is. Cute date ideas for two chicks wearing masks.
Okay, so now lockdown's over, should we go out and do something on the weekend?
I mean, the new Spider-Man movie's coming out.
Oh, that is true. 10 a.m.
Northland? Great idea. Hey, 2 tickets to see Spider-Man, please.
Sure thing. Can I just see your vaccination certificates first, please?
Of course. Here you go.
Of course.
Well, my parents haven't let me get vaccinated yet.
I mean, you're over 14. You don't actually need to get their permission.
I don't.
Want to go do it now? Go on a back date?
That sounds fun.
Cool, let's go.
Hi, darling. Ready for your vaccine today?
Yeah.
Can I just see your arm? Thank you. All time.
See, that wasn't too bad, was it? No, thank you.
I'm away in the waiting room, and if you have any issues, here you go. Make sure you don't see you next appointment.
Oh my goodness. I love how it has to be a new Australian flipping her hijab back like it's her hair. Oh my goodness. And I love how bad the production quality is on this too. It's like they had to do everything with subtitles.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That evil butch just forcing this nice young Australian girl.
And the fact the hijab chick was flirting with him, like she wanted it on that.
You know, that's usually I'm down.
They're 14, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is the kind of propaganda. Go get waxed without your parents even knowing. They can't do anything about it. You're already on a lesbian date, so what the fuck does it matter? This is the propaganda that they're pushing out there to kids on social media platforms. Like your parents probably had a good sense. They probably had some good reasoning why they don't want you to get that. One being that the actual condition, the virus itself, is not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. Yeah, there's... I don't even need to get into that. I think everyone knows what the score is here and why this is so fucked. But this leads into something that's happening in Canada. And I think it has more to do with not only like the cultural degradation that we're experiencing here in Western countries, especially Canada, but also it ties in with the larger cockvid narrative, as you call it, right?
Yeah.
So conversion therapy is now illegal in Canada.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to cover a lot of it, but I got a couple things along the way. I'll pause you as you go. Go nuts.
Okay, yeah. So it's a major milestone in LGBTQ2S plus rights in this country. That's the first time I've said that whole thing without just making it up as I go. So I was just reading it right from the source. It says, after parliamentarians came together to unanimously pass legislation to eradicate the harmful practice in late 2021, the criminal code sanctions came into force on January 7th. So that was about 11 days ago. So that means that now anyone who looks to subject anyone of any age, consenting or not, to
consenting means that they wanted it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now that is the most mind-boggling thing. At first, I was trying to think, do they mean like the age of consent or not? Right?
No, they mean literally they asked for help and you're not allowed to help them, or you can get 5 years in jail for literally talking to a fucking kid about it, for giving advice,
right,
trying to save that fucking kid for doing something horrible. Whether they asked for help or not, you could face 5 years in jail for literally talking to a child about a problem that they have.
At any age. It doesn't even have to be a child.
Yeah, it could be any age.
You could have Jessica Yaniv try to entrap you with this. You know, Jessica Yaniv, the wax my nuts man. Yeah, you could have that happen to you. But I think the most important thing here is the kids. If you're talking about these things with a grown man, then that's on you. You do you. But like,
what if it's your daughter?
Kids...
Then your daughter would be asking daddy. Okay, I get that. What if your son? Then your son would be asking daddy. No, I get that, right? You know, I understand that your children are asking you to talk to them about something, and they're literally telling you that you as a parent are not allowed to talk to your child about the question that they are asking, or you can get 5 years in jail.
Right. Yeah, you have to lie to your own children if you think that it's not morally the best thing. It could even just not be the best thing for when they're a kid. Even you could tell them, hey, please don't cross-dress and do all these things that are going to get you bullied at school potentially, that are going to cause all these situations that are maybe going to put you in peril with the Lord and God in heaven up above. It's going to put you in peril with God. It's going to fuck with your morality. Maybe you're not part of the actual tiny percent of people that feel like they are actually a woman, and then like there's nothing you could do. It's not 1%. It's probably like 0.01 or 0.1% of people that have some kind of genetic disposition that makes it so that they really feel like they need to be, that they have this gender dysphoria that's so bad.
And I'm no expert on law, but
and it's probably like 0.01, even if it's that bad. You could handle these things, this gender dysphoria, with therapy and stuff. Like that's insane that they're trying to push this on people. So people need to be able to put things in their ass in order to be normal.
yeah, so like my opinion on this, and this is only because of this new fucking law, okay? This is absolutely retarded. But if your fucking child comes up to you and you're like, hey daddy, I think I might feel this way and I want to know your advice. Instead of giving them advice, because advice could get you 5 years in jail, you might just say, do it and I'll put a bullet in your head and you might only get a year. I mean, I'm not an expert on that, right? But it might be
that's a
safer
threat.
to tell your child, I'll put a bullet in your head, than to give them the advice that you would normally fucking give them, due to this new law that these fucking communists, oh, sorry, not communists, these fucking maggots, okay?
Yeah, fucking parasites.
Maggots, these parasites, yes, these parasites have pushed through. And if anybody's like, oh, I still respect the conservatives, no, this went through unanimously. They all went and gave each other big gay hugs on both sides of the fucking fence. They all got together and came over and fucking hugged each other and shook hands, and the liberals and the fucking cons both got together in one giant group orgy afterwards.
Well, doesn't O'Toole put on high heels and walk in gay pride parades? Isn't that what he did?
I don't know.
I know John Tory
Nothing surprises me at this point.
Yeah. John Tory was accepting lap dances from trannies, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I heard about Aaron O'Toole. But anyways, I have this is popped up, right? Okay, yeah. So this is like a screenshot from the actual law that passed. It says Canada's new law declares that you are guilty of conversion therapy and subject to 5 years in prison if you counsel your biological male child to accept his male identity. And so it says definition of conversion therapy. It means a practice, treatment, or service designed to A, change a person's sexual orientation to heterosexual, B, change a person's gender identity to cisgender. The fact that cisgender is even a fucking term applied in legal law is fucking insane. C, change a person's gender expression so that it conforms to the sex assigned to the person at birth. D, repress or reduce non-heterosexual attraction or sexual behavior. So you can't repress or reduce. What about the dads who don't want their daughters going on dates till they're like 15 or 16 years old, just because they're being protective from fucking like? Does that apply to a gay situation then? Like, how does this even fucking work? You could definitely apply this law against that dad if it were a gay situation, but not a heterosexual situation.
Oh, these guys that made these laws, they really hate anybody that won't let their 15-year-old or 14-year-old go on a date, because that's who these people are chasing, is fucking 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, man.
Well,
allegedly, I mean, it's the way it looks.
There's always some people involved. Yeah, there's always some people involved somewhere along the. I know that Ghislaine Maxwell has a little black book of people, and apparently the FBI has deemed it that we don't need to know who they are, and they have control over this black book. So who's to say that the FBI is not putting these people in this black book into power by blackmailing them?
Yeah.
And then we have these kinds of people making our laws that are destroying our nation, that are destroying our families, destroying like heteronormative practices that actually produce children, produce healthy offspring. So E, repress a person's non-cisgender gender identity. So if your son is cross-dressing, going to school dressed up as a girl, you can't say anything about that. Meanwhile, if they're like getting bullied by all the other kids at school, whether to their face or not, and it just is a total shit show when that happens. Okay, so when I was growing up, we didn't have any of these things, and I'm only 28 years old right now. So I went to school from like high school from 2007 to 2011. I remember there was one training incident at our school. There was the gay kid. Like there was gay kids at our school, but no one bothered them or bullied them or anything, because they weren't being flamboyantly fucking obnoxiously gay. But there was one kid who was doing that. he obviously had other mental problems, and it was like one of those guys, you know. So there was some other guy that was switching into her school, and it was this guy's boyfriend, and this guy was like a transsexual that made a YouTube video before the first day of the new school year, dressed up in drag and everything, saying that he's gonna use the guy's washroom. No, he's gonna use the girl's washroom and do whatever he wants. And if any of these transphobic douchebags have any problem with him, then they're gonna get stomped out by a tranny in stilettos. This is what this person said in this YouTube video. And then literally, like, the students at our school, like people in my age or older or whatever, like my colleagues were like, oh, what a fucking sick, disgusting fucking, like, just going off, and it was hilarious. It was like, oh my fuck. And before the first day of school, or on the first day of school, this person got brought in, got expelled because, you know, that's fucked. But then our douchebag principal went on the announcements and was like, how dare all of you be this fucking homo... No, he didn't say fuck, but he was like, how dare all of you be this intolerant? And he was such a douchebag. Like, he was the ultimate tyrant, our principal. But he was going off, like, he expelled the freak for posting a freak video and being a freak. And, like, you know, using his mental illness to try to, you know, attack everyone, essentially. But this principal, our principal, was yelling at all of us for being transphobic and writing mean comments to this freak. So then all the students would talk amongst each other, and they basically came to the conclusion that they didn't really have a problem with exactly what they were doing. They didn't want to bully or mess with this person, but it's the fact that they were doing this for attention and to try and hurt, like, the cohesion of the school and all this stuff. And
dude, honestly,
even the students knew this at this time.
Yeah, but dude, honestly, think about it though, man. If I'm a guy at that school and that's happening, I'm like, this is a win for me. I don't want that fucking freak in the standing at the urinal next to me or in the changing room with me. This is a win. Keep that fucking guy in the girls' room.
Yeah, that's also a great point, because what if this person didn't make that video, and then they were in our school peeing in the fucking girls' washroom? Like, the psycho just didn't make that video, and then they were allowed in that. That is like, just say they didn't make that video, but they still had that mindset. That's like a fucking weird, at least a weird confrontation. Like, oh, what? You don't think I could do it? Just like intimidating some fucking like 14, 15-year-old girls, or potentially assaulting them, right? Yeah. This is absolutely fucked, and that's the closest we got in our day. But now they're trying to normalize this in so many ways. And there was a specific case in, I think it was Washington, where in DC, there was a candidate, like a political race between Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. I forget exactly what. I think it was for senator or governor. I think it was for governor. But basically, Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat, was saying that we own your children. You parents don't get to decide what goes on your school. And there was arguments about critical race theory being taught in school, and also LGBT crap being taught in schools. And Glenn Youngkin, the Republican candidate for this position of power, was saying, you know, fuck CRT, fuck critical race theory, and he was bringing attention to something that happened where there was a trans male student in the women's washroom who literally raped a young girl. And then the school tried to cover it up. They tried to, you know, sweep it under the rug. But this all came to fruition. And all these parents were going nuts over it. And then I think it's the FBI director, but fuck, what's his name? I forget who the FBI director is, but they sent FBI after parents who were getting pissed off at all of this and throwing out that they were potentially domestic terror threats because they were getting mad at teachers in the school board at these school board meetings. So we are potentially coming at a standstill, potentially coming to a crazy conflict here with this situation.
Yeah. Were you done with that conversion article? Because there's one more line out of there I wanted to read. I can just read it out loud. We don't have to put it up on screen.
I have it right here. So
it doesn't matter. I can just read the one line. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, go for it.
All right. So there continue to be calls for further mental health and education supports for those who have survived conversion therapy. Just a quick question. How many people do you know that have died by talking to somebody? How many people do you really think died from conversion therapy just from they're like, hey, I need some help, and you're like, yeah, I'd be happy to help you. Most of these people are licensed therapists or priests or pastors or even their own parents. But I just wanted to point that out, where they're like, yeah, oh yeah, you know, the people that survived this, they make it sound like everybody fucking died. No, they didn't. They didn't fucking die. If they died, they fucking committed suicide because they realized they were that fucked up and didn't want to fucking live a normal life, whatever. But the point is, like, nobody fucking died from having a conversation. If you died from something else. It wasn't from having a conversation. It wasn't from somebody being like, hey, I can try and talk you out of this. I can try and help you out. I can try and, like, a guidance counselor or something, you know, like we have these people in those places for those reasons. Right.
This is also a huge attack on Christianity, all these religions.
Yes.
Of course, they're not going to apply this to Muslims because then the conservative opposition will get all over it and be like, see, they don't accept LGBT. That's why, like, completely fucking bogus arguments. Like, no, yeah, you're right on that. Except for we shouldn't be accepting these LGBT arguments for kids in the first place. So
not only that, we're one of the only countries in the fucking world that has banned conversion therapy, because we, like, every other country in the world has realized that it has a better success rate of helping these fucking kids and getting them to stop themselves from fucking making horrible mistakes where they later commit suicide or fucking murder other people, then commit suicide. Right.
Well, they'll give you some statistics saying that because you didn't transition early enough, they'll commit suicide. That is that's not something that you could easily prove.
No.
Trust me, they're pulling that shit out of their fucking ass 100% of the time. Yeah, so I have this up here, and it's another just example of how this grooming worked. Her kid came out as trans at 4. Kids don't know what all this means at that age without their parents coaxing them. Groomer parent. And yeah, it's just her talking about how her kid came out at 4 and entered kindergarten, and how she talked to all the principals and the teachers. Now they're all playing into her delusion. And the other kids are finding out about this kid's past, where they were the pre-transition, and now the whole school faculty has to be involved with preventing the 5th grader on the bus from knowing who knows it from bullying him or her or whatever. Like, what kind of fucked up situation is this? What kind of 4-year-old do you have going to school as the opposite gender? And now you have a whole school system complicit in it. Now, there are some people within our own community who are promoting homeschooling, and I am 100% on board with what they're doing. I hear about what they're doing. They're teaching them how to go into the forest, use compasses, how to survive. Very practical things, math, science, finances. All these things that they don't even teach you properly in school, like finances, how to manage your finances properly. Man, if they taught you in high school how to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, imagine how good that would have done a kid, right?
Okay.
But
I wasn't even going to bring this one up. I didn't even have it pulled up, but I just pulled it up because of how ridiculous this entire conversation has gotten. Okay.
Right. But get your kids out of the system. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They're going to be stuck putting diapers on their fucking face anyways.
Okay. Clown World. Substitute teacher was fired for refusing to meow to a student who claims to self-identify as a cat.
Okay, is this like Babylon B? This is not fucking real.
No, this
You're
is Patriot Rising. This is an American fucking...
This is not Patriot Rising. I've never heard of this. This is not fucking real, John.
This is
Come
legit.
on.
This is
It's
legit.
not real.
I wasn't even going to
No
pull
one
this
got
up.
fired for this. No one got
this is
fired for
legit.
this.
It
I
goes-
don't believe it.
I wasn't planning on showing this, but it got so insane that I'm like, okay, you know what? This is
Troll
legit.
me once.
They fired a fucking substitute teacher for refusing to meow to a student who identified as a cat. This is where our society is fucking heading, okay? Like,
It is where it's heading, but I don't believe this actually happened.
no, actually, I've used Patriot
Did
Rising.
Greg Whitecliffe write this?
No, but I've used Patriot Rising hundreds of times, and I've actually fact checked like 90% of the things that I've fucking read from them, and it's all
Okay.
legit, man. Like, Patriot Rising is an American fucking respected fucking site, believe it or not. It's not respected by Democrats, but it's respected by Republicans, and it's all fucking factual. This is kind of like, you can't believe this actually happened, but it did. Go look it up, and you can. You can actually just Google this yourself if you want. But yeah. So I figured since we were going to lose our minds anyway, I might as well share that.
Okay. Well, look out for the animal kin in the future. That's going to be the new sexual identity that you cannot unconvert somebody from. You cannot convert somebody from. So if your kid is like meowing around like a cat in heat and rubbing its fucking ass on things on the carpet, pretending like it has worms, you can't do anything about that because your kid identifies as a feline.
Yeah.
Who are you to say? You're going to go to fucking jail for 5 years, you fucking bigot.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude.
I mean, that's the way she fucking goes, bud.
I have a hilarious video we should end this with. Have you ever heard of Cyanide and Happiness? It's a stupid cartoon on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Oh, we'll end it with it. I'm just going to get it ready while you fucking pull up the next thing you wanted to talk about. Or I could play it right now. I don't care.
We'll
It's
end
up
the
to you.
stream with it. Okay, so yeah, I have something I want to share now. Now this is just good for the COVID narrative and everything, the cockvid narrative. Gad Sad, pretty funny Canadian professor, who's really into evolutionary psychology and biology, friends with like Jordan Peterson and some of those other guys. He's showing a new magazine called Self that says "The Future of Fitness," and it shows this crankly haired bitch. This is the future of fitness, boys. The relentless reality of anti-fatness and fitness, I guess. And he says, yes, fit at any size. It is fat phobic when a physician suggests that you lose the extra 200 to 300 pounds that you are carrying. More weight means you are healthier. Progressive feel-good medicine. And this is hilarious because, holy fuck, with what's going on, with all these situations in the ICU where, you know, apparently all these unwaxed people are overrunning it, when in reality, the more chunks you have on that goot of yours, on that gunt, on that fupa that you have, that's all just a space for this virus, for this cockvid, to get worse and worse and to make you more susceptible to dying from it.
Yeah, some people put weights on their ankles. This chick just has weighted ankles.
Right. And what, like, this is not healthy for anybody, and yet they're trying to make it like you get better mental health from reveling in the fact that you're comfortable, from not doing the things you need to protect yourself from disease and viruses and all this stuff, your mental health is better somehow from taking the easy route all the time. This is like having Self magazine for an alcoholic, where he's just passed out on the ground. It's like, at least he had that last drink to make you feel a bit better for now.
Can you excuse me for a second? The dog's getting
Yeah.
something.
Okay, yeah. And I do want to show you guys something. I recently just had a video taken down. A video that's been up for 5 years. I think it had almost 20,000 views, which is pretty good for me. And it was one of my magnum opuses, one of my masterpieces. It was called, I'll show you what it was called. But I got it taken down for cyberbullying, harassment, and I don't know, other fucking bullshit. But my video got taken down off of YouTube, and I'm fucking pissed. But it has to do exactly with what we're talking about here right now. It's called Chubby Chaser Reacts to Fat Phobia TED Talk. This was unanimously loved by all the people who watched it. It got reported a bunch of times. It got put age restricted 18 plus. But I want to show you guys what you're missing. And I'm going to put the link in both chats on Entropy and YouTube so you guys could check this out later. But here's the song piece that I had in this 20-minute long video. So this is an original song that I made. It's to the tune of What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. And it's just about me having a fetish for my chubby chicks who are healthy at any size, you know. Because you're beautiful at any size, and, you know, you're attractive to me, a sick fuck who loves to stick his dick in some rolls. So just let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? Here's the video that got me banned off of YouTube. This is now on Odyssey. I'll throw the link in the chat so you could see it later. In fact, I'll do that right now before I forget. I threw it in on YouTube and I threw it in on Entropy. And this is on my Odyssey channel. So please go follow, subscribe to my Odyssey channel. And this is the music video.
Doc, that's my land whale. It's okay, girl. I'll take care of you.
I see you eating, baby. Won't you sit on my face? Oh, yeah. Drink up every last drop. Come on, baby, baby, let me see that belly flop. Ooh, baby, oops, baby, I did it again. I fell in love with the waist size 110. Come on, eat up every last bite. Come on, baby, baby, go and shake that cellulite. Ooh, baby, I wanna fall asleep on the belly of the beast. And I know she won't eat me cause I fed her all these treats. Yo, hurry up and eat these snacks. Come on, babe, I wanna watch you have a heart attack. Ooh, baby, and once you flatline and I'll be out the door to find a new big girl and watch her eat some more. Please end my suffering. Oh, kill me, please. Randy Bobandi, you said you'd kill me. Why am I still alive? Please kill me. Please end my suffering.
Make sure you hit that notification button.
Okay. That was that. Let me just stop the video. There we go. Yeah.
I came back too early, man.
You came back too early? Yeah.
Fuck. Should have warned me. You should have been like, dude, go take a smoke break or something.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So that video got age restricted pretty quickly. But now 5 years now after I released it, it got taken down off YouTube. No strike. Because I think they made their cyberbullying and harassment policies more,
Inclusive.
they wanted to stop creator on creator videos of that savage nature. But come on, I was destroying the arguments of this bitch who made a fat phobia TED Talk, saying that all these people are fat phobic who want to discriminate against her for, trying to add the benefits of being fat into fitness. And I was just debunking every narrative and everything, and I was adding in some pretty disgusting jokes in the meantime, but that's what we do. That's what made YouTube great. And this is why we can never go back to YouTube again. We have to spread out across Entropy. We got to spread out across Odyssey, BitChute, Gab. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, it's not edgeless TV.
Yeah, it's not EdgyTube. Oh boy. Well, let's see what else we got before we end the night here.
I got a couple headliners if you want, man. I got a pretty good one if you want.
Do you want to throw something up? Start it. I gotta go to the washroom for a second.
Okay, yeah, give me a sec so I can pop this up here.
Right, because I have some stuff about Joe Rogan that would be a quick.
Right.
What do we got here? Hold on, let me get you on the screen. There you go. Oh yeah, this one. Can COVID-19 actually shrink your penis? Okay, so read this out, and then by the time I'm back, I want to know about my junk. Am I in trouble?
All right, man. Yeah, I'll put it down for say. All right, so yeah, the headline: Can COVID-19 actually shrink your penis? I'm not going to read you the whole thing because it's lengthier than necessary, but COVID-related penis problems might actually pose a legitimate threat to your manhood, as one distressed penis haver learned after reaching out to Slate's How to Do It podcast for advice on COVID-19 dick. This is a legitimate thing. COVID-19 dick is a real thing, said Dr. Ashley Winter, a urologist in Oregon. The main reason that we think this occurs is something that we call endothelial dysfunction, she explained. That's basically the cells that line your blood vessels, and they are really important for the function of many different organs. According to Winter, when these cells are infected with COVID-19, it can result in erectile dysfunction, which can in turn lead to shrinkage. Fortunately, while both doctors confirmed the real, if relatively slim, risk of COVID-19 related penis shrinkage, they also just suggested those symptoms probably aren't permanent, and they could be relieved by a variety of at-home methods. Winter suggests using Viagra or Cialis to help restore the penis or its pre-COVID glory, as well as purchasing a penis vacuum device like you've seen in Austin Powers. They didn't say the Austin Powers part, but and doing penis push-ups or other forms of penis exercises. Men suffering from post-COVID-19 shrinkage might also consider stretching the penis with a traction device called Restorex, which sounds terrifying, but according to Winter, can lengthen the penis by 1 to 2 centimeters with regular use. But while COVID-19 dick may be a real thing, Winter and Welliver suggested it's relatively rare. Still, if your penis suddenly seems smaller than you remember, feel free to blame COVID. Just so you know, ladies, this is completely what Edgy's fucking saying. The excuses, he's just blaming it completely on the fucking COVID dick.
Okay, what's going on? Are you? Yeah, so I had what you call short COVID, which how there's long COVID where you have all these bad effects from it after. I had short COVID, where
now he's short.
Yeah, so I used to be like, I don't know if you can see how big this is, but it's pretty freaking big. I'm not exactly sure. I don't measure because I don't care that much. Like, I just get the job done, okay? But now it's more like that. And I swear it's because of the short COVID from that article. Like you said, John, right? Thank you. Thank you for helping me out with that one.
No worries. I just honestly thought that was more fucking funny than anything because honestly, it was like 2 people have ever reported that.
Yeah.
2 people. And I'm pretty sure those 2 people just lied to their girls and they're like, yeah, I'm fucking 10 inches. And then they fucking girls like, oh yeah, I'm coming over. Oh, you can't.
No.
I got COVID. Right? Fucking. And then the girl comes over. He's like, well, I got COVID dick. That's the thing.
Right. No, it's a real thing.
No, it's a real thing. I mean, 2 doctors confirmed it is. I mean, 2 doctors,
exactly.
That's all you need in a world study, right? I mean,
yeah, so like, shut up.
Yeah. Especially a doctor of Oregon, man. Like, who's going to argue with a doctor from Oregon? Yeah, come on.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue with people like fucking Garrett Von and Bosch, and Dr. Robert Malone, but not some chick named Ashley Winter from Oregon. Fuck. Get your
How
shit
about
together.
how about some chick named Michelle Cohen? So Michelle Cohen, MD, blue checkmark on Twitter says, most common troll replies to virtually anything I post, but especially when I tweet about the denialist / anti-wax movement. They say, "You're really a doctor? Who's paying you? Pharmacill? Oh my god, pronouns?" And yes, indeed, she does have the she / her pronouns in her username, as a doctor does, right? Because that's totally
doctors always can't figure out whether they're she's or he's. I mean, it's even doctors can't figure it out. I mean,
right. And then nice name. Nice name you have there, Jew. Well, okay, this is what really bothers me, because it's like I try so hard to like help the J-ish community. I say, look, not all guys, not all. Look at Israel. They have some of the worst booster shot, like, vaccine passports put into place. Obviously, they're not benefiting from that. It's the people that are in charge. Come on, guys. Hashtag not all. Yet, here she is here, using it against, like, using her identity as, like, a smokescreen shield to call everyone else an anti-Semite for disagreeing with her. And she's ruining it all. She's making it worse for her own people. I'm trying so hard to help her, but well, what can you do? At a certain point, I just have to let it be,
Yeah.
And it says, must be lonely being a Spencer. Well, okay. Well, I could agree with that one. Yeah, it must be. I can imagine a guy having to deal with that kind of sass for disagreeing with opinions and stuff. But yeah, that this is your average TV doctor, your average blue check mark. And look at what they're saying about our boy Joe Rogan. Now, this is from the Rolling Stone. I had to get an outlined archived article about it, but let's see what they're saying about him. They're saying he's a menace to public health, according to doctors who demand that Spotify put an end to his COVID lies, because, he took a deal out with Spotify. He just had that episode where it was probably the most downloaded episode ever of any podcast, with him and Robert Malone. It's gotten banned off YouTube. And it was just massive red pills about the cock-fed situation. And says, as an infectious disease epidemiologist and research fellow at Boston's Children's Hospital who debunks health misinformation on Instagram. So this is the cream of the crop here. Where she has more than 380,000 followers, Jessica Malati Rivera regularly receives tips from her followers about viral content debunk. A few weeks ago, her followers started sending her a link to an episode of The Experience, the most popular podcast in the world. The episode was an interview with Dr. Robert Malone, a virologist who touts himself as one of the architects of mRNA technology, which he was. But let's just take a look at who this woman is, just quickly, just a quick profile.
Yeah, everybody knows who Dr. Robert Malone is. Let's see who this bitch is.
Oh, the Rockefeller Foundation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
has a profile on her saying Jessica Mulatto Rivera. She's the science communication lead at the Pandemic Tracking Collective.
Yeah.
I say conflict of interest detected, opinion rejected. No. When you have billions of dollars funneled into the fact checking industry, and this is the best you could come up with, you astroturf some bitch on Instagram No thanks. No thanks. I'll take the person that you're not willing to debate with. You're not willing to speak freely, to let speak freely. I'll take their opinion over it, and then I'll listen to them at least, and then I'll weigh out the information.
Yeah, look at the credentials on both sides. What's this bitch's credentials? I got paid a lot of money by some fucking sleazy ass people that fucking pay me to say whatever the fuck I want. And then you have the guy that created mRNA technology on the other side.
Right, literally one of the
know?
richest families in the world.
Yeah.
So they go on to say, Rogan has also platformed many discredited physicians and academics who have spoken out against the wax, such as Dr. Peter McCullough. And you know, the guy who is helping give all these alternative treatments to all these senators and these US politicians. Oh no. He's so discredited. And Peter McCullough is apparently a cardiologist who inaccurately claimed that cockfed waxes are experimental and that the pandemic was planned. Oh, so inaccurate. So out there for him to think that. Like it boggles my mind. That
it just sounds fucked up when we put cockfed waxes together in a sentence.
We gotta do what we gotta do, you know. It's these little changes.
Today's day and age, man. Fuck.
It's these little changes that help us not to get to not get deplatformed as quickly. So we'll do it.
It makes it funnier, dude. Honestly, cockfed waxes sounds fucking hilarious.
So this is where it really does. This is where it really has some chutzpah, you know, some fucking, like, how dare they fucking have this kind of nerve? That's what chutzpah means in Jewish language. Anyways, it says, although many have criticized Spotify for hosting Rogan on its platform, the open letter to Spotify does not request that Rogan's show be taken off Spotify, nor does it demand that Spotify remove the Malone episode in particular. Rather, it is calling on Spotify to develop a comprehensive policy prohibiting misinformation. So, no, they're not just calling on this one episode. Don't worry, they're not that petty. They want all future misinformation, or what they deem to be misinformation, to be banned from the platform so that it'll never happen again. Don't worry, they're not about censorship of this particular podcast episode. They just want to make sure nothing like this ever happens again, and then probably retroactively this episode will get banned because they now have a new policy in play. What a bunch of fucking scumbags. So any podcast that platforms dangerous people spreading dangerous ideas and misinformation should not be allowed to go unchecked on the Spotify platform, says Abby Richards, a researcher specializing in misinformation. And it goes on to say, Abby Richards gave this other bitch the idea of penning an open letter to Spotify when he approached her with his concerns about the Malone episode. We're not focused on something as small as just one episode of Rogan. They needed to implement a policy and carry out. Do you want to see what this Abby Richards person looks like? Boy, you're in for a treat here. You want to see her claim to fame? She's the author or the creator of the Conspiracy Pyramid, where she shows you how bad your conspiracy is on her retarded conspiracy pyramid that she's created. So here, maybe we'll start.
About, and the ones that definitely didn't happen, but are like still kind of fun to think about. We had such a good time. We talked about MK Ultra and Avril Lavigne and UFOs. Anyways, welcome to Science Denial.
So there's the first two levels of her pyramid where, like, it's mostly harmless, or the things that we actually know about at the bottom, where she just says things that are obvious, like MK Ultra happened and a couple other retarded things. And then there's the stuff that is the second level where, oh, it's pretty harmless, but it's like stupid things. And it's like things you've never even heard of, like birds aren't real, or
we discussed that one actually.
Avril Lavigne is actually like a clone or something retarded like that. And it's like, nobody is saying these things. You're an idiot. Shut up. Why are you involved in a Rolling Stone article next to someone who at least the other person works at the Rockefeller Foundation as some kind of MD, some kind of doctor? You're just an idiot on TikTok, a so-called comedian, making fucking retarded videos about some bullshit conspiracy pyramid that you made up with your own arbitrary definitions on what everything is. So then we get into the third category, which is a bit worse. It's the science denial. So
like when people say birds aren't real, it's because they're purposely trying to not be taken seriously. It's a fucking troll in itself. It's a fucking joke.
Well, you can expect her to understand anything because they're dealing not with actual comedy, or their comedy is really lowbrow and like the bottom of the barrel of like the new Daily Show with Trevor Noah level comedy, right? It's very woke, just poisoned by, conforming to the system. So you're not going to expect them to understand nuances like trolling. Trolling for them is probably a hate crime in and of itself. Because he messed with their head and made them feel bad for a second.
Yeah. I made you think.
Theories down here tend to be about one thing, a single person, a single event. But as you move upwards and now you cross this line, now we've entered monological thinking, where everything's connected. Fundamentally, it doesn't really matter which one of these we talk about because they're all about rejection of authority.
I love how they once again use the word pathologize, which means that they're trying to act like they know exactly how you think and why you are fucked in the head. When it's like, we could probably pathologize you in many similar ways.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot more accurate, so you don't want to go down that lane, honey.
Brains aren't real.
If you don't believe in climate change, what you're really saying is you don't trust the scientists. It doesn't matter what the experts say about chemtrails if you don't trust the experts.
Yeah.
If someone feels discontented, these ideologies provide them with a sense of community and someone to blame. Also, if they say that they have scientific proof, they don't, because that's a math term and scientists don't use that word. Breaking down my conspiracy theory chart, part.
Like, what does that even mean? It's just straw man, like, it's just, what do you call it? What do you call those things in logic? It's just fallacy of logic after fallacy, just piled upon each other. But apparently this is the kind of person that they astroturf amongst articles with people from the Rockefeller Foundation. So as stupid as this fucking person is, just know that this person is one or two steps away from being involved with the Rockefeller Foundation, who's the richest family in the world. I shit you not. Anti-hate promotes this person. They retweet her shit. They promote her. These are the people who are coming after us. They think this is a credible source of information, of satire. So this is where you want to be, though. Here, on the fourth part of the pyramid. This is awesome.
Scientists don't use that word. Breaking down my conspiracy theory chart, part. I hate to say it, but we've reached the anti-Semitic point of no return. Conspiracies up here use dualistic thinking, where there is good and there is evil, and the evil people usually control the world. Whether it's evil people controlling the government so that they can hurt children, or evil people lied about history and the shape of the world.
Oh, so QAnon and flat Earth.
Are lizards.
So we're, John, I think we are at the anti-Semitic point of no return.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's say, do you feel like returning? Because I think she might be right. I don't feel like returning either.
No, I don't want to. I don't know if I can come back from this, man.
Right. Well, I'll tell you one or two things that I could see. I want her to move her. She's kind of chunky, so it's hard to see the pyramid behind her. I'm trying to read what they say. Reptilian overlords. Like, okay, whatever. That's a straw man. Move, bitch! I'm trying to see what it says behind you. Okay, so deep state. So if you think the deep state exists, you're at the anti-Semitic point of no return. So if you don't think that there are people who have a lot of money that are funding all the politicians to say what they want them to say, which is what the deep state is, Then
Yeah.
you're oh, New World Order, same thing as the deep state, pretty much.
I'm surprised she didn't put BlackRock, Vanguard, fucking those things up there, you know.
Oh, well, that would hit too close to home.
Wait, but you could actually go and see those on the stock markets and shit. Oh, but, so they're not myths.
Right. Oh, well, you know, that'll destroy the narrative, and then she won't get her gig as as what do you call it? As the third wheel on a Rolling Stone article.
This is a tactic they use forever, though, man. They just fucking throw out all these crazy conspiracy theories and try and tie them all into one, right? Like, we'll have a whole bunch of legit ones, and then they'll be like, birds aren't real. If you believe birds aren't real, then the deep state
and flat Earth,
exactly,
and the New World Order,
right?
You know,
tie
you mean
them all
the
together.
thing that they talk about all the time.
Yeah, you know.
Here's the conspiracy. Imagine how stinky this girl is. Stinky. Look at that. Chunky, stinky. Oh,
psychologically comforting. The pandemic has made us all more aware of just how fragile and uncertain our world is. So more people are turning to conspiracies to try and process reality.
Shut the fucky uppy. Okay, there we go. Let's get out of that one. I'm sorry I had to subject you to that, but I just have to show you who are our enemies. What are we dealing with here, man? It's all important for us to contextualize this shit. To show your show your friends this. Say, do you want to be on this side?
Yeah.
Do you want to smell her?
No.
All
right, we do got two more that we got to get through before we fucking end this, man.
Okay, what are the two more?
Well, you got the one of the 461 athlete thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, we should definitely get into that.
You should at least show the chart at least if we want to speed this up.
What is the other one?
And then the other one actually is something that I pulled up. Canada is contracted or has contracts for 100 million Pfizer and Moderna doses in 2022. I can sum that one up in like 30 fucking seconds.
Okay, I'm just gonna read the chat quickly.
Yeah.
So it seems like we got a bunch of spammers here. This is weird.
What?
Yeah, we got a bunch of website spammers. Good thing we have enough mods in here because they're on the case here on YouTube.
Oh, really? Because I'm not even a fucking mod. What the fuck, man?
MOC9. Oh, sorry. Well, you throw yourself in the chat, I'll mod you. I'm having some weird technical difficulties with the chat here, but it's fine. MOC9 is saying he's having a running list of most of the CBC experts that do the spotlight interviews with. Interesting where you see where they went to school or got funding from. Well, yeah, like we just looked at the Rogan chick. The one who's critical about Rogan's trying to get him deplatformed off of Spotify. She's employed by the Rockefeller Institution. Like the fuck. Yeah, we have a lot of Russian bots. The fuck is going on?
Where? Fuck.
Mod me. Okay, we got John. I'm gonna mod you, bro. Dude, we're getting hit with bots. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's weird.
Let's look at entropy. There's less bots. We got Big Mac saying, "What the fuck?" He's probably just that was probably from the Fat Trick song that I made, where I had my chubby chasing phase that I went through. What can I say? I absolved myself of that degeneracy. I went to the Lord. I'm better now. Federal Poster said Avril Lavigne was replaced by Melissa Vandell in 2003, or so I've been told by my wife. Okay, so he's a believer of the Avril Lavigne conspiracy. So he's on level 2 of the conspiracy theory pyramid. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Federal Poster, or at least your wife is. Al Stern is saying, "Go kill a bird and see what's inside. I dare you. They're all robots." See, he's part 2 on the conspiracy theory where it's mostly harmless.
And he's never had a cat.
Yeah, I'll kill a bird and open it up. That's mostly harmless. You know, I'll go and find its meat robot heart.
Yeah, I've shot turkeys and pheasants, and yeah, they're legit and they taste great. They're not robots.
Yeah. Journalists are not credible forensic pathologists. It's true. Somebody says you better be marrying that fatty and the moon is flat. So that's a lot to take in, too much. So let's just get on to the next topic, where I believe you wanted me to share that thing I sent you about. Well, what was it again?
The 461 athletes with cardiac arrests.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I gotta find that here. Yes, okay, I got that. Now we're nearing the end of the stream, so I think the detection will not find this as much. The algorithms will not. Oh, whoa.
We already did our damage anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay, it's having a problem finding this article, so I'll show you what I'm talking about.
I can send it to you if you need it.
Well, no, I copied and pasted it, but did they shut it down?
I never closed mine. I have my tabs open all the time.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it all the time, bro. All the time.
All right, let's get it up there then.
I didn't highlight any notes because I was expecting you to, but I just figured it'd show the point.
Okay, awesome. You have it because mine's not working.
Yeah, this is why I like keeping my tabs open. So 461 athletic cardiac arrests, serious issues, 269 dead after COVID-19 shot.
Cockvid.
Oh, cockvid. Yeah, sorry. I keep saying the wrong words today, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to scroll down and show you the charts, and it just gives you times, dates, all those things, right? And this, so the red, by the way, is deaths. You guys can all see that clearly. And then the blue is all collapses. And that is all literally within 1 year's time, from 2021 to 2022. I didn't highlight all the notes because actually Edgy had this all done, but they tell you exactly every single person, every single incident, whether they're alive, dead, whatever, whether Cockvid was the fucking killer or not.
I don't think you need to highlight anything. It pretty much says it all here.
It says itself, but the one thing that they do admit at the bottom is that they don't have charts for previous years because it's never been needed. Right? They're also all the critics are like, well, you don't have the charts for the years before that. We never need them.
Well,
There
here's
was like
one
one
thing.
a year. You know?
Here's the control group. You could say that from January to June or July, why are they so low? Like,
there's a pretty obvious correlation there, right?
Obviously, like in somewhere like Australia, there's still going to be having rugby or soccer or whatever they're doing over there in these countries. Is it really going to be that much of a stretch from January up until May or June when they actually started implementing these mandatory waxings?
Exactly.
So it's pretty obvious what's going on there. And we've all seen the video. We've all seen that video where they use a song "What's Up" by 4 Non-Blondes called What's Going On? No, yeah, What's Going On by 4 Non-Blondes. What's going on? And it just shows them all collapsing. This is unprecedented. And now we even have that. Isn't there a guy named Novak? The Australian tennis player. What's his name again?
I don't know. It's news to me.
Novak. His name is literally there was the tennis player who is the best, supposedly the best tennis player in the world. He tried to get into Australia, and he had an exemption that he conjured up with whoever's doctor or whoever it was, and they at first let him in to play in his league in Australia, but then they denied him and they deported him. And now the refunds are so big on the tennis match that he was about to go into, and he's literally the guy who was just wrecking everybody in tennis. But now Now it's like a huge thing, man. No vax, no jacks. I have it here.
Is my other article pulled up?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, I'm just gonna fly through this one really quickly. It's just a couple of key points that I wanted to point
Sorry,
out
his
here.
name is Novak.
Novak. Close enough.
Novak. So okay, I'm just gonna read something quickly. It says Australian government argued in court that letting Novak Djokovic stay risks making him an icon of free choice. So that's why they deported him, and the court agreed that this is indeed too risky. So then they deported him, and now they're banning him from playing in any other matches, like with big stakes across Europe. It's fucking crazy, and I just love that there's somebody who has that much prestige in his field, willing to take that sacrifice and just say, hey, you know what? I'm already better. I've already beat you guys a million times. I'm gonna stick by my own morals, and I'm gonna stick to it. You're not gonna phase me. I love it. Anyways.
All right. I'll just fly through this one as quick as possible. Canada has contracts for up to 100 million Pfizer Moderna doses in 2022. Couple key points here. Federal COVID-19 vaccine contracts mean Canada should get enough doses to give 2 or 3 more being the key word, mRNA shots into every Canadian every year until at least 2024. Okay.
2 or 3 more per year.
2 or
God,
3
I haven't
more
even had my
per
first.
year.
What am I gonna do?
Year.
I haven't even had one
until 2024. But even as National Advisory Committee of the Immunization is now suggesting some Canadians get in line for the 4th dose of vaccine, the World Health Organization is warning repeated booster doses of the original vaccine composition are not a sustainable plan to end the pandemic. With a population of 38 million people, that is more than 2 doses per person per year for a country where 77% of the population has already had the 2 doses required, and 27% have now received a 3rd dose. Dr. Sirvanius Murthy, British Columbia pediatrician and co-chair of the WHO's Clinical Research Committee on COVID-19, said the booster response is panicky politics and not public health. Murthy said with Omicron, there is some data that suggests a 3rd dose is going to be better at preventing infection outright than the original 2 doses, but said that there is no evidence of 4th dose is helping at all. None. So I just figured I'd fly through that real quick. So yeah, they plan on jabbing everybody fucking 3 times a year until 2024 at the very minimum, even though there's no scientific data that actually says that it's actually beneficial in any which way. And then I'm not even going to pop this one up because you guys probably already seen it on Rage's, and if you didn't, go back and watch Rage's last stream. But I'll just read the headline from this one. 4th vaccine shot likely not good enough to protect against Omicron, Israeli researchers say. And you can go and read the entire article. Just type that very thing in, it'll pop up. But yeah, Rage showed that on his last one. I went and read the entire article, and it's exactly as it sounds. The 4th shot does nothing, absolutely nothing, but they're pushing it anyway because it's all a money game.
Yeah. Well, when you really look into it, and I can't stress this enough, and maybe in the next stream we'll go into more how you could red pill normies to see that this is all happening because they want you onto the Vax passport and the digital ID social credit score system. That's ultimately what they want to put people onto. That's their ultimate goal. The digital currency, they want it all wrapped into one. The smart cities, the 5G controlling and surveilling you and mining your information, your data, and the elites having ultimate control over you. That's what they wanted. This whole virus is just an impetus for that. And most normies, or a lot of normies who are not completely bought into the psychopathic COVID cult, know that things don't make sense. Like what, I could go sit down at the bar, but then as soon as I get up, I'm a threat. Or after 10 p.m., Cockfit comes out and attacks everybody. Like, people understand this, and if we can convince them with proper argumentation to show them the real greater agenda that's going on, and then once they maybe not understand what we're saying right at first, they think, oh well, that's interesting, but whatever, I'm gonna live my life. But then it starts to affect them more and more, and then they say, hey, wait, didn't John say this to me earlier? Maybe I should listen to him some more. And then you could help them along. You could show them how you're prospering despite all the restrictions that are being put in place, because hey, we were ahead of the curve. That's the one thing about
absolutely
resisting to all of this, is that we know it's going to happen. So we're kind of like smart investors at that point. And as much as they're going to try to damage us with like the vax tax in Quebec, or they're going to try to ban us from going into fucking restaurants, or maybe even box stores or grocery stores in the future, we're still gonna know what to do, because we were red pilled early on, and we did our best, and we're gonna try to open up as many people's minds as we can going forward, and try to extend the olive branch, obviously with our own self-preservation in mind. You don't add somebody in if they're gonna snitch you out. You don't let them in on the secrets, of course. Like,
I want to give a quick special shout out to the entire fucking chat. A minute ago, there's 28 people and 28 thumbs up. Fucking A.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. Smash that motherfucking like button.
They did. I didn't even have to ask, man. There's 31 now. 2 people just got here in the past minute, but literally, fucking, we had 28 out of 28, man. I special shout out to everybody. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That.
Yeah, let's get this up in the algorithms. We're about to sign out.
Yeah, especially since we had to switch over to a new channel and shit.
Tonight it's pretty fucking crazy how many comments are getting deleted, and they're all like Russian or some kind of fucked up bot. It's crazy. It must be something to do with Telegram, but holy nutsack.
Yeah.
Jimmy Greek is saying we're like Martha Stewart. Insider traders, we're all going to jail. You know what? Yeah, we are insider traders, and the inside that we are trading upon is the truth. So let the chips fall as they may. I've got nothing to hide. I am fucking standing by my morals, and I'm standing by what I think is the truth. And kick me, kike me, don't you black or white me. That's what Michael Jackson once sung. I think I listened to that song a few days ago, but fuck it. Let's fucking go. This is our lives now. Just be happy that you're living in hard times, because you probably get depression and be a little bitch if you weren't living in a time that was testing you. You'd probably grow weak. You'd probably go fat, get fat tits. No. You got to put your foot down and stand up like a man and fight. And there is respect. There's worth in that. You're living a life worth living at this point. And just remember that.
All right. Well, you want to shut this down with that short little video I was talking about? It's a cartoon about convergent therapy. It's fucking hilarious.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Throw it up.
All right. Well, well, good night, everybody. It's been fun. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. And thanks for watching. Smash that like button. Good to see everybody on Entropy. Hell yeah. Let's go.
I'm not taking credit for this. This is Cyanide and Happiness. If you type Cyanide and Happiness onto YouTube, you'll find this. This video is called Put 'Em Down. So I'm not stealing any credit.
Old school YouTube, 2014 at this point. Let's go. Oh no, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Let me make sure that the audio is coming through. Did you share the audio?
Let me try this again. I can't. Just so you know, I can't hear audio when you share anything either. Share. Check the chat, see if everybody else could hear it while I played it. Can everybody else hear what we were playing? I'll start it over. If you can't hear it, go on YouTube and
No volume.
listen. Is that what people are saying?
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll just send you the link and you can fucking play it. How's that? There, it's in the private chat. Fucking you play it.
Let's go. All right.
Poor little guy. He's been sick for so long, and I feel so badly for him.
Got him. All right.
Poor little guy. He's been sick for so long, and I feel so badly for him. Little buddy is in so much pain. I'm afraid the only option we have left is, you know...
There we go. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Poor little guy. He's been sick for so long, and I feel so badly for him. Little buddy is in so much pain. I'm afraid the only option we have left is, you know...
Miss Livingston, this is an adult human being inside of an animal costume.
Can't you see that he's in pain? He's my pet, and it's my decision. And my decision is I want to end his suffering.
I see. And what is he suffering from exactly?
Well, look at him.
I tell you this every time you come in here, Mrs. Livingston. This is your son, Kurt, a 24-year-old adult human male, and I can't euthanize a 24-year-old adult human male.
Actually, it's Fire Dash.
Right.
I'm a pyrofox from the forest planet.
No, you don't understand.
In the kingdom
Fire
of Fire
Dash is sick. He's been sick. He's been sick a long time.
Miss Livingston.
Call me Rachel.
Miss Livingston, this has been and continues to be a complete waste of my time and resources. On top of the fact that this is completely unethical, it disregards Kurt's basic human rights.
It's Fire Dash? My name is Fire Dash?
You just don't want to live with a son who, as an adult, wants to live his life as a magical human dog.
What, would you?
I'm a pyrofox.
Not to mention the responsibilities you have as a mother. His mother.
Come on, please?
No.
Isn't there somewhere I could leave him or something?
Come on, Kurt. Are you going to let her treat you like this, or are you going to stand up straight like a man and say, I'm here, I'm a magical dog boy, and I don't want to die, Mom?
I don't appreciate you referring to me as a cisgender human male. I'm a trigender pyrofox.
Get out.
Please?
Get out.
Please?
Get out.
Come on!
Get out! Get out of my office!
Oh, fine. Quiet, puppet. Soon you'll finally be free.